Welcome back to Women's Wealth, The Middle Way, the show that answers your questions about work, money, and family. My name is Susan McGlory Michael, and I am the CEO and founder of Glen Eagle, a wealth management firm in New Jersey.
My name's Carol Ann Fernandez, and I'm the COO of Glen Eagle. Our guests today are LaShone and RaeShawn Middleton, founders of R&L Crab, and twin sisters. So they both worked in the restaurant industry as servers and happened to be laid off from separate restaurants on the same day, which is what led them to decide to start a crab delivery service. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excited. We're excited to have both of you, and as you can tell, it sounds like you both are excited as well.
Yes, we are.
How cool is that, sisters? And it sounds like something that started off as a pretty, what you could consider a bad day, turned into actually a blessing. So maybe you both can just start off by sharing a little bit about your background with us.
Absolutely. I'm LaShone. We both were cooking for about 7 years, and then after that we moved into serving. And right before COVID hit, we were both serving at separate locations, and then we got laid off on the exact same day due to COVID. And after about 4 or 5 months being laid off, we were thinking to ourselves, we have to figure out something. We have to do something for ourselves because who knows if restaurants will close again in the near future. Yeah, there was really no telling on what was going to happen with restaurants. And then one day we just had the idea. It was raining outside, and we wanted crabs because we're huge crab eaters. We eat about 3 times a week, and we really wanted crabs. The idea just sparked the idea, and then that just kind of came about.
That's amazing. So you said that you eat crabs 3 times a week, which is very impressive. Yes. LaShone, maybe, I know you talked a little bit about that, the idea came about, but maybe expand a little bit on, so you have this idea, where does that go from there?
Of course. So when we had the idea, we noticed no one in the area delivered. And we thought that was kind of strange because in Maryland, blue crabs is our staple. So we were like, how come no one delivers crabs to your house? You could get a burger, you couldn't get crabs. And obviously in the beginning, we just thought of the idea, but we didn't think too much about it. But then we went out to eat with our family, and we spoke with a fellow restaurateur. He got a lot of attention and notoriety in the D.C. area, and he told us, just do it. Whatever idea you have, just try, because if you don't, you're just going to keep coming up with reasons why you don't. And so that day, I stopped and I looked at Ray, and I was like, we both just got these new cars. I was like, why don't we just use our cars? All we have to do is purchase the product, cook it the way that we do, in the way that we grew up doing it, and we just sell it to people for a little more than what you bought it for. So we just did it, and that's how the idea came up.
That's amazing. And you make it sound so easy. So maybe tell us a little bit about the more challenging parts of starting the business, because I'm sure it wasn't as easy as that sounds right
Exactly. It's definitely not. It's so interesting because, you have this idea and you're like, okay, we'll just do it. And then you learn there's a lot of obstacles in the way, learning how to do paperwork, and especially in terms of taxes. You don't know what taxes you have to pay, and you got to research all that payroll. Hiring was a challenge for sure because we started during COVID when everybody was out of work. So it was really tough for people to kind of transition back into the work field. So nobody really wanted to work at the time. It was really tough. We faced a lot of challenges in that way. We had to do a lot of the work ourselves, a lot of the physical labor and things, which became a challenge to do the physical and to do the administrative side of things. But we made it happen, but it was really a challenge for sure.
You work together as sisters, which is really cool. I work in a family business as well. Maybe just talk a little bit about what it's like to work together and how that hopefully brought you closer together. But that's a really cool story that I think some of our listeners would be interested in, just knowing kind of the challenges and beauty of working with your sister.
Growing up, because we're twins, we're the type of twins that are super close. So we've held jobs together, and we're so used to working together. But it is a different beast when it comes to business. What I find that we naturally do is we split up a lot of the tasks that come with owning a business, and we naturally do it. I don't know how we plan it, but for example, me as LaShone, I do payroll, and I do certain things like that. She does scheduling. And
taxes,
deal with the shipping aspect of things. Exactly. So we split up a lot, but I find that we've actually learned to communicate better since the business, which is great. I'm proud to say. I think that we have worked so hard on how to communicate in a better way that we never really argue. Yeah, we actually put effort into making sure we communicate well because we know that business can be stressful and things like that. So we actually put work into our personal relationship as well. If we even have conflict, we make sure that we hash it out right then and there. We don't hold on to anything. And even if it gets ugly, we always fix it because we're twins. We're sisters. We're going to fight, but we always fix it. We just in this good place where we're open. We're so honest with each other that even if it's ugly, we fix it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's great. And having worked with one of my siblings, I agree. It's always a nice way, and you tend to split things up and realize you each have strengths. What are your guys' plans now for R&L Crab? COVID is hopefully settling down here. Moving forward, what are you guys thinking? How is it growing, or what's kind of the next step?
Absolutely. So since opening our Columbia store, originally we wanted to open multiple locations in multiple states and stuff, which we're really hoping that we still will be doing in the future. Right now, since opening our first brick and mortar, it's just a carry out, right? Because with COVID, we strictly focused on just carry out or delivery. But now that, COVID is kind of dying down a little bit and people are going out to eat more, we're actually very interested in building more of a dine-in crab spot. We want to have this vibe where year-round you can come and have crabs. You can watch football during football season, grab a beer, and during the summer you can come have crabs and drink a crush and just come in with your family and your friends. So that's one of our biggest goals right now. Yeah, we definitely want to expand for sure.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And I think everyone's going to be making a trip down your guys' way.
Everyone's welcome.
Obviously, you guys worked really hard and took a situation that seemed probably daunting and overwhelming at the time and made it this great venture and now business. Maybe each of you can answer, but what advice would you give to maybe someone who's listening to the podcast and either recently lost their job or just not sure their next step on what they should think about when considering doing a new venture or starting a business?
I'm Rae. For me, I recommend just going for it. When you have an idea and you have a concept in mind, oftentimes a lot of people think about perfect timing, whether they're ready or they have fear. We had an overwhelming amount of fear in the beginning to the point where I didn't even do it. I definitely choked, and LaShone had my back on that, and she went out and did it anyway, and she overcame her fear a little bit more than me, which I'm so grateful that she did because look at where we are today. But with that being said, I just always say there's never going to be a moment where you're just like, now is the time. There's never going to be one of those moments. If anything, you're going to keep talking yourself out of it. So at one point, you're going to have to just do it. If you're thinking about it, just do it, because one of our sayings is the worst that can happen is you're going to end up where you are today. That's the worst that can happen. You're not going to end up worse off, or you're just going to be exactly where you are in the moment before you start. So start, see what happens. And honestly, in failures, there's a lot of lessons. I recommend failing so that you can learn how to do it the right way. I would say that's probably like one of my biggest things as well. But I would also say in the beginning, you can DoorDash and stuff on the side for some extra cash. You know what I'm saying? There's always ways of making side money. But if you love something, personally, this has been one of the most challenging things that we've ever done, was starting a business with no experience. But it has been the most rewarding thing of my entire life because I do something that I love, and now I work on my own time. No one is above me. And I think that if that's something that you crave, then there's no reason why you don't just jump and do it.
I think that is awesome advice from both of you, and I think so true. The scariest things is starting a business, and one of the hardest things to do, but it's also one of the most rewarding, I think. So we're really excited to see you guys grow, and just so excited that you could be guests. I guess one last question, how far do you guys deliver? Because I'm sure some of our listeners would love to try it out.
Absolutely. So we deliver 15 miles or less from each store, so 15 miles or less from Columbia, Maryland, or 15 miles or less from D.C. But we do also offer shipping domestically. So anywhere in the U.S. we'll also ship to you. We actually just worked on getting more affordable and better pricing for shipping, so we're super excited about that. All you have to do is just head over to our website, and you can just go to the out-of-state shipping, and it'll tell you like the prices based on where you live at. Yep, and our website is www.randlcrabllc.com.
That's awesome. What an amazing story. And thank you so much for being on today. I know some of our listeners are definitely going to be checking you out and just inspired by how you built this company.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode of Women's Wealth, The Middle Way. Make sure to subscribe to us and leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcast app. Join us for new episodes every other Wednesday. See you in 2 weeks.